Welcome back. It's another creaky bloody gammas battle report. Let's get on with it.
Okay, so welcome to round 4 of Belcon. So we're up against Bretonnia. We're on the dizzy heights of table 2 somehow, and after our round 1 victory versus vampires, then a big loss versus chaos, and then a narrow win, 12-8 or 11-9, I can't remember. I think I stuffed up the scoring there. But anyway, a narrow win over the Orcs and Goblins. And then round 4, we're up against Bretonnia. So we'll have a look at the armies. I think the audio might be okay from the video. But anyway, special thanks to our TO Ben for running the tournament. You should always thank your TO because I've done it many times in the past. And sometimes it's a thankless job giving up your time, etc., so other people can play. Anyway, so thanks, Ben, and let's have a look at the armies.
There, yeah. Okay, so that's your Baron over there.
That's my Duke.
That's your Duke.
My Baron here.
And they're the Grail Knights, the unpainted ones. Yeah.
Yep.
And the Peg Knights. And the guys out there, they're Knights of the Realm.
Yep.
Yep.
And then I'm also going to go
Peasants,
with
Bowmen.
the Prophetess in the...
Prophetess is just hiding behind there.
No, she's in the unit.
In the unit. Doesn't she have to go in the front?
Nope.
Oh, okay. It's a Bretonian thing.
Bretonian thing.
Oh, okay. Yep. And they're Knights of the Realm and Squires.
Not only should you note it,
Okay, so I've deployed the Great Keef way out on this flank, well away from the Grail Knights, but I want to get him stuck in this game. And my level 2 and level 4 are out on that flank, the Night Goblin Archers there, so I've sort of weighted my flank with all my characters. So hopefully I can win that flank, and then I'm relying on the Black Orcs and that little unit of Night Goblins there to hold this flank. You can also see that after last game, my bolt throwers, I think, no, the game before, they didn't hit anything, so I've deployed one bolt thrower forward. Bit of a mistake, but there's dangerous terrain in front of him, the little duck pond. So maybe if I get him in short range, he might be able to hit on a 4+, because every time I needed a 4, I'd roll a 5, and every time I needed a 5, I'd roll a 4. So anyway, it just kept missing, you know what I mean. Okay, let's have a look at turn 1.
Turn 1.
Okay, so turn 1 I heavily weighted this left flank and I shot up his little mounted squires. So there's only one of them left. I sent a pillar of fire forward as well, and my archers who I've deployed, the Arrow boys, I've deployed in the woods. So they made short work there of the mounted squires, so that sort of frees up that flank. In the middle, I've killed a few of his archers here. I think I was aiming some Doom Divers in the middle at some of his units, and I maybe scattered over onto the archers, so I killed a few of them. So there's only about half the longbowmen left there in the middle. Otherwise I haven't touched them at all. They've just shuffled forward because his main strength is over on this flank where he has 2 big units of knights and his duke or whatever it is on the Pegasus. So the Peg Knights, the Grail Knights are in the woods. They have the move through cover, so they're just going to hang about in there because he's worried about the fanatics popping out of this unit. I do have my little hero with his Wallopers one-hit wonder, which I finally decided to deploy in the unit, which makes him a little bit better. So I think he's a handy thing, that Wallopers one-hit wonder. Good little character in there, just gives that unit, which has a little bit of combat resolution, just gives them a little bit of punch. So maybe they can hang around for an extra turn. So on that flank I've got a chariot and the Black Orcs are back here. So I have to hold off all that. If I can hold off all that, then the rescue attempt can come from the other flank, maybe. But he does have some item which stops me flying. So the Great Keef's trotting around on foot on his wyvern, moving very slowly. Alright, that's the situation. Let's have a look at turn 2. Alright, so after saying that about my little hero, he jumped out of the unit and I pushed those Night Goblins forward, hoping that I could do some damage with my fanatics. They ended up in that position and I pushed their fanatics away from the woods. They went through and killed a couple of those knights. And one strangled himself, rolled a double, so that wasn't really good. And then I'm just holding them off, and he declines to charge those Night Goblins. He goes after better targets, etc. And there's my little hero. He jumped out of the unit so he could use his Ruby Ring of Ruin, which didn't do too much here. He saved all those hits, etc. So we're just waiting to receive the charge with the Black Orcs, the counter punch with the chariot, and then my bolt thrower there is going to be bait, sitting in the dangerous terrain. So maybe you can lure them in, but the Black Orcs await the charges there. In the middle, not much happening, and I take care of those knights he had there. They're all gone from shooting, etc. The Pillar of Fire, and so on. And the Great Keef finished off the mounted squire. He's turned this way, but he's going to be slowly getting back into the battle because he's not allowed to fly. So that's a bit of a bummer. But at least my Arab boys are safe. They might survive the battle, not run off in terror this game. So that's a bonus. So that's the overall situation. So my little night goblins there, they've released their fanatics, and now they're just sitting there, waiting to get charged. But he's not going to charge them. He's going to come this way with the peg knights into the bolt thrower, and those knights aren't going to charge them. I gave them a flank and everything, but the knights are just going to keep moving forward down this way. Now I'm going to keep Wallopers one hit wonder handy there. Maybe he'll come in handy later, we'll see. And in the middle he's just got his infantry zapping me with some spells, and I'm losing night goblins over here.
Turn 3.
Alright, so I didn't do too much filming here, so I don't know how these night goblins ended up in the middle here. This might be bottom of turn 3 or something, and I've whittled down a few of those squires, or whatever they are. The one with the prophetess is hiding in the back. I'm not sure whether they're men-at-arms, and the other ones, I'm not sure which they are. Maybe they're dismounted knights or something. Anyway, whittled them down. Those night goblins are still hanging on to their fanatics. He's trying to panic them, but they're still hanging around. The Pillar of Fire is doing a little bit of work there as well. And then this is a big one here. The Grail Knights moved up a little bit, so I'm probably into turn 4. Between 3 and 4, this is like turn 3 and 4 mash-up. The Grail Knights moved out of the woods, and then the Black Orcs did a long bomb charge. I think I needed a 5 or a 6 on the charge, and they made it, which blunted the Grail Knights' lance. So the Black Orcs have got a charge off on the Grail Knights. So I'm pretty happy with that. Hopefully they can do some damage there. And my chariot charged his other knights, and they countercharged. So it's a battle between the chariot and the knights, and the Black Orcs against the Grail Knights. His peg knights charge my bolt thrower. There's the Great Keef and his chariot. They're just waddling up slowly towards that unit. My biggest regret in this game is later on when I charged the chariot in, but I declined to charge with the Great Keef. I should have set them both in hindsight. Anyway, I'm just sort of manoeuvring the Arab boys over, and my shamans, etc. They're way out of range to do any damage. So it's pretty even. He's winning on that right flank. It's up to the Black Orcs if they can do some damage to the Grail Knights. Just depends on saves and everything. And we'll see in a minute that he did charge that bolt thrower, and the peg knights pursued or overran off the table. So the peg knights are out of play for a turn. So they'll come back on. My Doom Divers are missing as usual, not doing much.
Turn 4.
Turn 4. Alright, so this combat here, my chariot, and countercharged by the knights. And I think he rolled pretty badly here with my chariot, and I didn't expect to, kill all the knights, but I was hoping to hold on a bit longer. That combat, so he does do okay, I suppose. He holds those knights up for a couple of turns, but eventually the chariot will succumb to his wounds, and he'll win that combat. So he did okay, I suppose. He held them off. The Black Orcs with this charge into the knights, he gets a spell off as well, which helps them out. They've got an extra ward save. So we whittle down those knights. And I'll tell you now that in the end, there's only like one knight left. He breaks and flees, etc. So the Black Orcs eventually win that combat. So well done, boys. Got a lucky long bomb charge off there through the dangerous terrain. They need to win that combat quickly because the Peg Knights will come back on the table. And then here in the middle, I've released the Fanatics out of my little archer unit that he was trying to panic. So I got those Fanatics out, and I'm going to try and send them this way towards the Grail Knights. So, and through the other units, etc. So the Fanatics, I managed to keep them around, keep that unit alive, which he was trying to panic. I think they might have panicked and ran back, actually, in one stage. That's how they changed formation. They panicked, rallied, and then moved back up next turn and released the Fanatics. That's probably what happened. And then, yeah, the Arrow boys, they're pretty chuffed because they're going to survive the battle. They're not going to see any more combat. And the Great Keef and the Chariot are moving slowly.
Turn 5.
Alright, so we're into turn 5 and the Black Orcs turn around. The Grail Knight runs away and the Black Orcs turn around to face the Peg Knights who have just come back on the table. My Chariot into the Men-at-Arms, and then my Chariot takes a few wounds, kills a few Men-at-Arms, but it's not looking good for my Chariot there. And he's got his Grail Knight running away. The Black Orcs are ready to receive a charge from the Peg Knights. Can they hold? And then the Arrow boys are laughing because they're still alive. Right? I should have sent the Great Keef in there as well. Maybe he could have helped that Chariot. But I was worried about where the Peg Knights were going to go.
Final round. Turn 6.
Okay, so short and sweet, we're into turn 6, and my Chariot that charged into the Men-at-Arms lost that battle because he had a character in there as well. I should have set the Great Keef, but I was worried about the Peg Knights coming and attacking us because I think the Duke has got the Ogre Blade and he's got hatred when he charges, etc. So, as you can see, the Peg Knights go into the Black Orcs. And I've got one Fanatic which I tried to get through there. Those Fanatics, I think 2 of them rolled doubles. So I've only got one Fanatic left in the middle of the table right there. Right next to everybody. His Prophetess is on her own now because the unit was destroyed around her. And with his BSB. He's round there as well. So the Black Orcs need to pop their stubborn. So the Black Orcs hang around for a turn. And then the Black Orcs break. So they survived one turn, they held on for a little while, used their stubborn because they hadn't made a test yet in the battle, but eventually the Peg Knights finish off the Black Orcs and run them down, so I've lost my Black Orcs. So that's a big loss there, 300 odd points for the Black Orcs. And as you can just notice there, I've got one Fanatic left and he's got one Grail Knight, and so that one Fanatic is going to go through the Grail Knight and finish him off. So that's a big exchange. So he gets all the Black Orc points and I get all the Grail Knight points because that one Fanatic went in the right direction and finished off that Grail Knight. So there you can see, there's that Fanatic, hero of the battle for me, finishing off the last Grail Knight. And those Peg Knights with that Duke on, is it a Duke on the Peg? Anyway, they did a lot of work and finished off the Black Orcs. So that's the final wash-up. So we added up the points and it was a 10-all draw. So a fitting result for the end of the tournament. So it was good fun. So we finished about 5th and my Bretonian opponent, Scotty, finished 2nd, I think. And so the boys did okay. So I was hoping for 2 wins, 2 losses. So I ended up with 2 wins, a draw and a loss. So that's the end of the tournament. So I think the winner was a dwarf army with 2 units of 3 gyrocopters and just a gun line with 2 units of 3 gyrocopters. I think second was this Bretonian army, and then there was probably Chaos and another Orcs and Goblins army ahead of me somewhere, and I finished up about 5th. So a pretty good result for the Great Keef. Things I would change, I probably would just give the Great Keef a great weapon and give him the Trollhide trousers for a bit more defense, so you're not so worried about him going in, because that Ogre Blade is okay, but it's not always useful. So you're probably better off with a bit more defence, so you can send him in without worrying so much, maybe. The chariots were okay. 2 units of Night Goblins with 3 Fanatics each is just enough. Not too much, not too little. The Arrow Boys, well, they did okay the last couple of battles when I deployed them a bit more defensively in terrain, etc. So maybe they'll get another run, or maybe I'll just get like some more mobile units, some more Goblin Chariots, maybe some Wolf Riders. There's so many options in the Orc list. You could play them all different ways. So we'll see what happens in the next little outing for the Orcs. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you next time. Bye for now.
Thanks for watching another Creaker Gamers episode. I hope it wasn't too bad. Please like and subscribe. Just do it.